I want to say that this class is one of the most interesting and talented groups I've taught, and I've been teaching for 10 years off and on. So thank you to everyone who has shown up to support these amazing young creatives. For our jurors, I'd like to tell you a bit about the class. This is the Fashion Communication Sequences Capstone. So they've spent the whole year conceptualizing and creating a fashion communication product to show off a culmination of the visual and written skills that they've learned over the past 4 years. So some of these products and services might be traditional print media, it might be events, it might be an e-commerce experience, as you'll see this year. Sometimes these are hypothetical businesses that they're forming, and sometimes these are real businesses that they really are pursuing in the real world. So we have a lot of exciting things, and I want to thank you so much for sharing your time and your expertise. And I want to say a special thank you to Lisa and Lenore, who is able to join us. These are her students. I can't really say they're my students because she really guided them through all of this in the last 3 years. I just kind of showed up and coached them to the finish line. So thank you to Lisa for making my job so easy. And with that, I will give it away to Ms. Hannah Kueck.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a lovely Friday. Get situated. Okay. So hello and welcome to the Fashion Communication Capstones. To begin, I will be kicking off the presentations with my baby, Bloom, a guide for visual creatives. So anytime I present anything about Bloom or talk about Bloom, I always ask this question, and that is, what do you wish you would have had prior to starting college that would help you get to where you are now? For me, because I like to talk about myself sometimes, what I wanted was just something or someone to tell me what path I needed to take. I always felt insecure about my work, and I just needed someone to tell me that I was doing the right thing. So that's how Bloom was born. But to really know Bloom, I think it's important to know the creator. So hello, I'm Hannah Kueck, and I'm a journalist and a visual creative who's constantly torn between her love for writing and her love for graphic design. For 4 semesters, I was on the staff of Stephen's Life as a writer. 1 semester after I joined, I became the copy editor, and I eventually worked my way up to the managing editor. But the first story I ever wrote for Stephen's Life received a lot of recognition. In fact, I actually won a really big award. I won Story of the Year from the Associated Collegiate Press, which was a really big deal and still kind of is. But that award really accelerated my writing career. After I won that award, I landed an internship as a writer with Como magazine. I worked my way up to freelance, and just a few months later, I was offered the position of department editor, and I gladly accepted and stayed there for a year. But during this entire time of writing and editing stories, I always missed doing something more visually creative, and I really missed graphic design. And I saw this in more than just myself. A lot of times in this position, Mizzou freshmen would come to me and interview me about how I landed this position at such a young age. And every interview, they would say to me, I love to write, but I also love graphic design, or I love photography. And they didn't know which one to take. And I felt this because I dealt with this the entire time I've been at Stevens. And that's how Bloom was born, a guide to help other creatives find their identity, find their confidence, and find the inspiration they needed for their own projects. So now that we know a little bit more about each other, let's jump into Bloom. So Bloom has several different components apart from the physical book. As I mentioned earlier, Bloom is a guided journal for creatives between the traditional college ages of 18 to 24. It helps them find their creative voice. Each journal has advice from people of all ages relating to the theme of that journal. And for the first installment of Bloom, which I'm presenting today, the journal focuses on confidence, inspiration, and identity, and offers advice from 5 established creatives in their 20s and early 30s. Creatives seeking this journal can get it in a hardback edition or a cheaper, less expensive version as a PDF download, which is available through my personal website, which allows them to work through it on their tablets or on their own laptops. We also have an Instagram account to help interact with followers in real time, where we get their advice on what they want to see in the next installment, or what patterns they like, if they like a little bit more of a bug pattern or a flower pattern. Right now, the account has 65 followers, but we've been steadily growing since the account was created and I started actively posting on it. And there's also an extension to Bloom on my personal website where you can go and meet the creatives and get web exclusive prompts. And more prompts are added weekly. So researching, writing, and illustrating an entire guided journal obviously comes in a lot of steps. So for your convenience, I broke it down into about 7-ish steps. Step 1 was to bloom or not to bloom, which basically means, is this a good idea? And once I figured out that it was indeed a good idea, I rounded up all the creatives I could find and all the ones that would respond to my DMs to interview them through everyone's new best friend Zoom. After a lot of Zooming, I did a lot of writing, a lot of illustrating. Every illustration that you see in this presentation was made by me. And I did a couple of all-nighters to make sure I made it to my self-assigned press date. And then it was off to print with a little bit of panic, of course. And now we're here talking about it, so it was all worth it. Now I know I went over those steps really quickly, but trust me when I say that it took longer than 30 seconds to do. So I'll start with telling you about how I found out it was actually a good idea to pursue this creation. As I said, I did a lot of research. I did research to learn more about journaling and stationery trends, and I also did a lot of primary research. I held focus groups to really understand what people in my target market needed and wanted in a journal. And I sent out surveys to make sure that more than just my little focus group from Stevens College campus would want a journal like this. And they did, surprisingly. 93.3% of survey participants said that they would be interested in a journal that focused on the topics of confidence, identity, and inspiration. And 6.7% said that they would maybe be interested in a journal like this. But absolutely no survey takers out of the 60 that took this survey said no. So with that information, I was feeling really good about the future of Bloom. So why Bloom and why is it important? Well, I'll tell you. Many traditional college-age creatives struggle with trying to find their creative voice as they work through their school curriculum. That's because they're so focused on meeting the deadlines that they don't really take time to appreciate the project or figure out what they liked about each project and what they didn't. So after spending my fall semester interviewing my audience and holding these focus groups, Bloom was born as a way to help creatives in the areas that they said they felt like they needed the most help. These areas came specifically from my focus group and the conversations we had during that time. They said that they wanted a journal that helped them grow and be more confident in their work, to share it out with the world, and to stop comparing themselves to others. They wanted to help find their identity outside of their major. And they needed help finding inspiration for their next project that went beyond Pinterest. And while we all love Pinterest, they wanted something a little bit more in depth. So this project addresses the overarching themes of imposter syndrome, creative blocks, and just finding who you are as a creative in general. This is done through a series of prompts and advice from established creatives in the visual world. And during my focus group, something that really stood out to me was a point brought up by costume designer Asher Lipscomb. They explained that they're more than just a designer. They're more than just a costume designer. And it was important for them to find out who they were beyond this identity. They also explained that they wish they would have had a journal with prompts dedicated to finding different creative identities, as it would have been really helpful for them for this discovery of who they are beyond the costume designer at Stevens College. So once I narrowed down all this information and confirmed it was a brilliant idea, I obviously had to find some creatives to feature. And after sending a lot of DMs on Instagram and emailing new creatives every day, I found 5 established creatives that touch almost all the bases of what I've learned here during my time at Stevens as a fashion communicator. First and foremost, I interviewed multimedia artist Monique Amy. She's illustrated book covers, she's done live paint sessions for Coach, and she's just a cool girl overall. Then I interviewed Gretchen Rohrs, Stevens alum and fashion illustrator who gained viral status through her edible illustrations. These illustrations have been featured in Vogue and Harper's Bazaar, and she's even collaborated with Starbucks and Marc Jacobs Beauty. So she was a big one that I wanted to feature. Next, I found Morgan Jones, a Kansas City-based photographer She started off doing concerts and then has been shifting her identity from concert photographer to editorial photographer. And that pivot in identity is something that I really wanted to make sure I highlighted in a journal like this. But she's had a great track record. She's photographed shows from Machine Gun Kelly to my personal favorite, Jesse McCartney. And then I found Gabriella Tremillo, a knitwear designer, after scrolling through Instagram. And I immediately fell in love with everything she produces and everything she stands for as a plus size knitwear designer. And finally, I interviewed my former coworker, graphic designer Jordan Watts. So as you can see, I have a little bit of everything in here. And together, all the creatives have about 115,000 followers on Instagram. So it's a pretty impressive lineup. So laying out Bloom, I wanted to keep it consistent throughout the entire journal while also keeping it visually appealing. So to begin, whenever the creative opens up their journal, they'll have a welcome to Bloom, which essentially just lays out what this book is and how it'll help them. There's also some starter prompts to help them set their goals that they want to achieve while using this journal and what kind of creative they aspire to be. And the next, we have introductions to the creatives that will be giving them advice throughout the entire book. These little bios talk about their successes, their background, and I really just wanted to set this up so the creative understood why these people are important and why their advice it matters, because they do understand and they have the authority to say, it's okay to feel like this because I felt like this and look at where I am now. Then creatives will move on to explore more about their confidence, identity, and how to get inspiration for their projects. And each section has advice from 3 of the 5 creatives with 2 to 3 prompts to go along with each. So we see a little spread from Gabriella Tremillo. So typically throughout the journal, you will see the advice page, and then the next 3 pages will have 2 to 3 prompts. In total, there are 9 different advice pages and about 24 prompts. Some of the prompts work on social media planning, or you'll make a color palette. So for example, a prompt you'll see in the confidence section are, what fears do you have when it comes to creating your visual art? Vent here. Or in the identity section, you'll find a prompt that says, reflect on your life and think of the experiences that made you who you are today. Create something on this page to honor those experiences. And in the inspiration section, you'll see something like, use these pages to make a collage of the latest trends that have been inspiring you this week. So Bloom is already off to a really strong start, but there are plenty of opportunities for growth. But let's talk about our strengths for a little bit. First and foremost, it's been proven through my research that this journal is wanted and needed for the traditional college-age individuals. It offers a variety of prompts to help creators figure out who they are, who they aspire to be, and what skills they want to hone in on. And it also offers advice from established creatives that will help them grow and feel understood. But we do have some weaknesses. Currently, we are lacking a larger online presence, but as Bloom grows, so will our platforms. Currently, Bloom is being housed on my personal website just to save on some spending costs, as it wasn't really sustainable for my wallet to pay for 2 separate Squarespace accounts. But as Bloom gains more of a following, it will be moved from my personal website to its own website, which we will update weekly, expand on topics, and just introduce more events and different merchandise. We also have limited funding as we are bootstrapped, so all the money spent is from my own little piggy bank. But like I said, Bloom has so many opportunities to grow. For starters, we have so many different ventures that we can do, specifically a subscription box filled with journals and Bloom merchandise, which will be coming soon. I know I've talked about it a lot throughout this, but it will be coming soon. And there are just so many topics we can produce our journals over. So think of the You Are a Badass series, but instead make it Bloom, a guide for creatives, or Bloom, a guide to discover your passion. And we also have the potential to tap into older segments outside of our targeted 18 to 24-year-olds. I can say with confidence that after sharing this book with my mom and having her share it with all of her friends, that a lot of people in the 30s to 40s age range are very interested in the book. We do have a couple threats facing Bloom. The main one is its higher price point. To begin, Bloom's hardback journals will be sold at $35, and the digital download will be sold at $15. But since we are targeting the traditional college-age students, the majority of them will be leaning towards the digital download. So that is where our main income will be coming from. Another threat is that there is already a lot of guided journals on the market today, such as Start Where You Are, which is a journal for just general self-discovery, or 300 writing prompts or 300 drawing prompts. But there's nothing like Bloom that offers advice from real-world creatives with prompts that go along with each of those advice pages. So since we talked about money for a little bit, let's talk about it a little bit more. For the first run, which was a very limited run of 10 books, it cost around $267 to print and ship through Bloom. But Blurb does offer discounts on larger volumes though. So with a volume of over 50 books, I can get a 35% discount from Blurb. So let's say if I made 100 books for the next batch, I would pay around $1,600. And if I sold them at $35 and selling 90 of them, like I said, leaving 10 away for giveaways, I would make around $1,500. And this doesn't include sales from the digital downloads or sales from our merchandise, which will be coming soon. But as Bloom gains popularity, I will be looking into partnerships with publishers and stationery companies to help with this printing and distribution. And like I said, we will be selling merchandise such as stickers, tote bags, and art prints. So as we look at the future of Bloom, there are several opportunities for us here. We will grow into a series of journals that will be released yearly that cover a variety of topics. And we will also grow a strong community of creatives. To build this community, we will host live Q&A sessions to our Instagram Live with industry creatives. These creatives will ideally be the ones featured in the book, but obviously if another creative is on the rise and is getting a lot of attention, we will invite them too. The more the merrier. We will also host weekly challenges on Instagram, like tag Bloom on your recent project to be shared on our page. And we'll be doing monthly giveaways. So these giveaways will include our Bloom merchandise, like the tote bags and art prints like I've been mentioning, and of course, a Bloom journal. We will also start doing virtual events through Zoom, which will be $10 for admission. Some of these events will be creatives come and share their current projects and what they've been successful with and what they're struggling with, and also feedback sessions with established creatives. So let's say they want to focus on illustration. We would bring Monique Amy, who is one of the featured creatives in this installment, and she'll give her feedback based off of her experience as a book illustrator or a mural painter. Growing the Bloom community is by far the most important part of this project to me. As a creative, I want people to know that when they're part of the Bloom family, that they're safe, they can share their work, and they can feel confident that they're going to get reliable feedback and not feel judged whenever they're sharing their work, because it is such a vulnerable thing. So when I presented Bloom last semester, I said that the world was ready for Bloom. But now I have Bloom, Bloom has been arrived, and Bloom is ready for the world. And with that, I open it to you guys for questions.
Okay, any questions from our jurors? All right, well, I want to take a quick, oh, yeah, go ahead.
Quick question. Have you visualized any way to have the creatives also share this idea, the ones that you've had featured? Is the idea that they would also share that on their web platforms, as I'm sure in the industry they have a lot of followers as well?
Yeah, I've been sharing some of their illustrations or the illustrations that I did of them on my Instagram page to kind of introduce who's being featured. And Gabriella, the knitwear designer, actually shared it on her page. And I want to say like about 20 followers after she did that, because she has 17,000 followers. So I definitely am planning on sending the PDF and things to them. After I get another print done of the book, I will be sending them a hard copy of it too, just so I can share it more. But yeah, it is definitely a plan of mine to share it out with the rest of the creatives that I featured.
Awesome. I think it's a great idea. I loved the presentation.
Thank you.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Hannah. And thank you to, I want to introduce the jurors real quick. Thank you so much for lending us your time and your expertise. We have Tatiana Evans. She's a Stevens College Fashion Communication alum from the class of 2017. And she is an influencer marketer with the LA-based brand Minimal. We also have Charmaine Wilson. She's a financial analyst and who also serves as the community outreach coordinator for St. Louis Fashion Alliance. So thank you to Charmaine for joining us. And then last we have Kristen Wilson. She is an e-commerce merchandise planner at FabFitFun in Los Angeles. So thank you so much for joining us. And with that, I will give it over to Madison Green.
Hello, I hope everyone's doing good. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with everyone. Okay, so my name is Madison Green, and my capstone project is over my photography business, Madison Jewel Photography. So a little bit about me. I am a fashion and lifestyle editorial photographer. I am en route to having my BFA in fashion communication with a minor in women's studies. I've been taking photos for 4 years now. My work has been published in Stevens Life, which Hannah touched on a little bit. Stevens Life is a magazine here on campus that produces evergreen stories and content. And it has been recognized for multiple awards like Best of Show and the Peacemaker Award. My main focus is photography and creative direction. And as we dive into this presentation, you will learn the ins and outs of what that entails. Although my main focus is photography and creative direction, my major and my experience allows me to be a jack of all trades. So I have experience with hair, makeup, and styling, which really comes in handy when it comes to creative directing shoots. I can do graphic design, I can do journalism writing. I know how to use all of the Adobe software and social media directing and more. So what is Madison Jewel Photography? This business is focused on fashion and lifestyle photography. My business seeks beauty and always finds it. My logo is "He who seeks beauty will find it," and that is one of my all-time favorite quotes from Bill Cunningham, and he is a well-known street photographer. This business is based on bringing ideas and visions to fruition, bringing them to life. The goal is to satisfy clients and to make individuals feel beautiful and to capture culture and fashion evolution. Madison Jewel Photography is a creator, and she is the artist who is visually communicating through a lens of a camera and her creative perception. The idea is to capture moods, emotion, memories, culture, fashion, and more through film and digital photography. I also have experience with videography as well. And the advantage to having skill in both digital and film photography is to satisfy a broader clientele. It's important as a photographer to understand the trends in photography, and film is a forgotten art that is making its way back into everyday photography, which is really exciting. The company and the management. I am my own boss, so I am the boss, I am the manager. Madison Jewel Photography was founded in 2017. Growing up, I always loved taking photos. When I was younger, I used to dress up my little sister and then take her outside and take her pictures. And then I would do this on my Android phone, and then I would edit it on using the Instagram filters that used to be cool back in 2011 and 2012. But I really took photography seriously when in 2017, when I was assigned a project for one of my classes, my freshman year of college, I chose to create an editorial spread, which I had to style, pose, and photograph my models, and then present the photos in an editorial spread as a magazine. At this point, I had no idea what I was doing. I just did it. I went to Goodwill. The photo that you see here is the photo that I produced from that project in 2017, but I went to Goodwill and got some pieces and styled my models, and I fell in love with the process of doing that, and I knew that this is what I wanted to do in the fashion experience in several areas of photography, including film photography and a little bit of videography. I've been using digital and film cameras, creative directing, shoots, meeting other photographers and collaborating with them, networking, marketing myself on my social medias, and creating my own loyal clientele. So for the products, I offer my time, my knowledge, and my experience with the camera, lighting, and editing in order to bring my clients' visions to life. I am located in Kansas City, Missouri, and I give my clients a comfortable space, and I offer my full attention and present energy. And they will receive edited work in a timely fashion. Usually it takes about a week, 2 weeks. The photos will be downloadable so they can use it however they like. And they will also have access to prints, canvases, CDs, and things like that from a site called Pixieset, and their photos will be private. Their gallery photos will be private on that site, but they can have access to it through that site. And then these are my mood boards. These are visuals for the brand. I used these mood boards to kind of keep my website cohesive. I used it to create my business cards, keep everything cohesive and the same. Everything has to be on brand. I also use this to create my photo zine, which is volume 1. And this is my business card that I've created. Shout out to Hannah, who just presented for the illustration. And then let's take a look at some of my work. I'm gonna take you to my website. So here is my website. You'll be immediately taken to the gallery, which you can scroll down and see some of my editorial pieces that I've shot and edited. A lot of these I styled myself. Some of the photos are creative directed by other creative directors. Like this photo here was creative directed by Courtney, who will be presenting this one as well. So as you can see, I collaborate with other artists to create. And then we have my film photography here, which everything was creative directed by me and styled by me and then shot on 35mm film. And I've been recently experiencing with shooting on 4x film. So hopefully that work will be presented here on my website here soon. And then we have street photography. I do enjoy doing street photography for fun. Did everyone lose me? Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
we lost
did.
you
Right in the middle.
Awesome.
in the middle of street photography.
Okay, cool, cool.
Yes.
Let me go ahead and reshare this. Take a deep breath. Okay, girlfriend. Okay. Can everyone see that? Thumbs up, cool, awesome. So here's my street photography. We're gonna scroll. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see me scroll, but I do wanna show some of this. I do like to do street photography for fun. I cannot find my mouse right now. So my blog is just a little taste into my life. I don't know what's going on here, guys. I'm so sorry. So my blog is a little bit about my life. Me. I'm going to try to exit out of here because I don't see my mouse, so it's really hard to tell. Hi, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on. I'm literally on Steven. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna continue as if that didn't happen again. Okay. I don't, where did it go off again? Can
You
someone?
were talking about, you were getting ready to start talking about your blog post.
Blog post, that's where it went off?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I have my blog post and then I also have a contact page on my website where anyone can contact me. So now, can you guys see my screen? Okay, so now I want to show you guys my video work that I've done. And what I'm going to show you is a creative video that I shot and edited for Steven's fashion show because we couldn't have one this year. So we had to improvise and make a video, a creative video. Okay, we're gonna just go ahead and carry on with the presentation. I really want to be able to show you guys my work, but I don't know what's going on. Every time I click on the link, I think that might be what's causing an issue. I don't know. So just pretend that we got to see that video and it was awesome, right? Okay, next. So let's take a look at the photo zine that I created, volume 1. This is the product that I created for my capstone, and it has a little bit of my work that I've created over the past years, as well as journal entries that I have written over the past couple years. So over here, you'll see the introduction page, and then you'll open it up to spreads of photos, and then some spreads will include my journal entries. And this is just a sneak peek. So I'm so sorry, y'all. This is just a sneak peek into my photo zine. And then let's get into the bigger view of service. So why an LLC? The purpose of an LLC for any business is to gain liability and demonstrate professionalism to clients. The benefits for an LLC for my business will be to protect personal assets of the business. It allows for expansion and tax benefits, and then establishes legitimacy. A good idea for me to do for my business is to invest in ads that will allow me to increase my reach, expose my brand, get value for my money. It better targets my clients, and it's actually really easy to invest in ads, and it's also very affordable, which I learned from my research. I did make model release forms. A photo release form ensures rights to publishing on various media platforms. It protects me from lawsuits, and it protects the model. It gives rights to social media, websites, print, and television to use the photos however they want. And it's just important that everyone involved in the creation of visual art knows what's going on and what it's being used for. So I want to dive into my SWOT analysis, because it's important as a business owner to recognize your strengths and your weaknesses and your opportunities and your threats. So some strengths to Madison Jewel Photography is that I respond very quickly. I never leave anybody hanging ever. I provide a service that is unique and specific to each client. I make sure to have meetings with my client to make sure we both understand the vision. And then Madison Jewel Photography is able to create a particular concept for a photo shoot that is driven by the client's idea by creating and using organized mood boards, style boards, pose boards, and that sets the tone for the overall shoot. Some weaknesses, considering that I am still in college and I cannot dedicate my full time and attention to my business yet. I do wholeheartedly believe it will be my income, my main income, but as of right now, it is just not there yet because I am a college student. And then lack of equipment, but I can rent what I don't have, and I am actively looking into grants so that I can have money to afford new equipment, because as a photographer, you have to stay up to date with new equipment so you can produce the best quality work. And for my opportunities, new trends in the photography world, it demands that the photographer can adapt and change. And it also creates new opportunities to bring new creative elements to my work. So new trends is like a good thing. New equipment, the more equipment you have and the newer versions equipment that you have, you can you're able to then produce the best quality work. And then collaborating with others can bring new business opportunities and new clients. Some threats: competition. Photography, the photography world is very competitive. So that's my biggest threat. I do have to know what sets me apart from others and really focus on that. And then the cost of film and getting film developed. So threats would be costs, and then the cost of new equipment. So just making sure I know how to manage my money and put it to good use. And then some problem solving. So this is a wonderful quote that I relate to, and I'm going to read it to you. Fashion images reflect the moral, social, technological, and economic imperatives of the era in which they were created. And this was written by Thomas Werner in his book, The Fashion Image, Planning and Producing Fashion Images and Films. So what does my business solve? Fashion photography, since that is my emphasis, fashion photography is a direct communicator for culture and the current times. It's always relevant, always relevant. And it's visual art, and visual art sells. It sells fashion, it sells the clothes, it sells the trends, it sells the looks. So it's always relevant in that way. And then using creative visions toward a single visual goal. There is a lot of work that goes behind that end product, that end photo. And you have to collaborate with hair, makeup, and styling with like makeup artists, hair artists, stylists, creating vision boards, style boards, pose boards, and then having planning meetings with the entire creative team before the day of the shoot is really important as well, to make sure that everything goes according to plan. And for my target market, I'm going to want to shoot fashion models. I'm going to want to work with fashion editors and fashion magazines like Vogue and Style ID. I'm going to want to work with media outlets like Fashion Week, fashion brands, fashion influencers. Everybody is looking for good quality content. So the market is high, it's in demand for photographers. So essentially I'll be wanting to work with, and I do work with, individuals who want an editorial feel to personal photography as well as media and brand clients. Some marketing strategies, using social media and using a social media calendar is going to be really important for my business. I have an Instagram, I have a Facebook, I have a TikTok, I have a Twitter, I have all those things. And my goal is to make sure that I post once a week regarding my work. So I'm constantly wanting to produce content and stay relevant in that sense. Another marketing tactic is sending my photography website to advertising agencies and publishers. There are companies that help promote your business and get you connected with commercial jobs. I can also work with model agencies. So I can work as a photographer with models, and they can use me to help build their portfolio. And then that would also give my name, put my name somewhere where commercial people that are looking for freelance photographers can contact me as well. And then for my financial plan, I just need to make sure that I am funding my equipment and my printing and my shooting rates. So when it comes to the equipment and printing, I will be funded solely by my income that I receive from doing shoots. And then when it comes to my rates, I did some research on all of that stuff, and a competitive rate for a creative with my experience is, when it comes to creative packages, is $220, and that would include a mood board, a style board, digitals, film photos as well. And then for commercial work, day rate would be $350. And then for each image that they want, I would charge $50. And then to end it with my timeline and goals, I created this kind of just as my ultimate goals for my business and my future as a photographer. And I was able to check almost nearly all of these off. So that's really exciting. I've been to networking events. I landed me an internship. I created a photo zine and my business cards and all of that good stuff. So that's the end of my presentation. Let me just stop the share. Thank you for being patient with me and because that was nerve-wracking, but thank you for being patient with me. And if any of you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. I would love to answer them.
I don't have a question, but I will say I do like your portfolio. I definitely think for our brand, for what we do, you would be a great photographer to do things for what we're looking for when it comes for influencers. We also look for photographers in other states just in case you can't be in California. So there's a photographer, for example, who's in Oklahoma. We send her packages and then she finds the influencers and or the models, and she'll do that, and she just sends a whole bunch of content back for us. She gets the recognition on our Instagram page plus all the other details, but that way you don't have to necessarily move or just uplift yourself if you want to
love to go to
stay
California.
in Kansas City. But I do think your portfolio is great. Just keep working at it. It's amazing. Also just breathe. I know it was a little stressful, but just breathe a little bit. Zoom and internet connections, it's all a little difficult, but it's okay. I've been in your same shoes, except I was directly in front of people. So I promise it's okay though.
Thank you so much.
I do have a question. Great presentation. So what is your startup cost?
My startup cost?
Yes.
Like my creative packages or
just to run your business every day, functionalities, what's your budget, things of that nature?
My budget right now is I guess $250, between 200 and 500. I'm still at a point where I'm saving money because I have goals for my business right now, when it comes to getting new equipment. So my budget right now would be 250 to 500.
And how are you keeping up with those costs? Is it an Excel spreadsheet, QuickBooks? How are you
I did make an Excel. I did make a spreadsheet. I have done
Awesome.
that, and I keep up with it in a sense of having a savings account.
Okay.
So just those things. I definitely my goal. The way that I separate it is when it comes the income that I make from shooting, it goes into a separate savings account than everyday living.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now. If that answers your question.
Yes, it did. I mean, because I know a lot of students don't know about this part. But like you said on your presentation, having an LLC, you can put it on your taxes as well. So that's a Schedule C, and whoever's doing your taxes should have you bring in those expenses as well, so you can get those credits. Just to let you know, FYI, you guys.
Thank you for that. That's very helpful.
I had a quick question too. First of all, great presentation, and I'm very excited to watch the link. I know you mentioned one of your biggest threats is competition and your competitors. So I was just wondering, what do you feel sets you apart from your competitors?
So I do think that the fact that I can do film photography and digital photography does set me apart because I know not everyone does that. I also feel like I take a very personal approach to it. I definitely try to connect with my models in a way, like I try to establish a relationship with them, even if it's 5 minutes of creating that relationship. I have the intention to create that relationship, and that way we can have a great shoot and bring that vibe to what we need to create. It's supposed to be fun and like energetic and good and present. Like we got to bring that energy here, and that's my intention with every single shoot. And I know that some photographers aren't like that. And I'm really good at directing as well. I'll tell you exactly how to pose and exactly what I want you to do and the exact emotion I want from your face and your eyes. So, yeah.
Great. Thank you. Love that.
All right, thank you so much, Madison. Great job. Next up, we have Leigh Barnett.
Okay, hi everyone. So, all right, so once again, I just want to thank everyone for coming today. We're all so grateful to have your feedback and your comments and to share our projects with you. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Not So Shallow. So there's a common trope in books and movies and other media that depicts the fashion-loving character as a self-centered egomaniac. We see it on Friends with Rachel Green and The Princess Diaries when Lily shames Mia after she gets through that transformation. And even Taylor Swift's You Belong With Me, we see her almost shaming the other girl for wearing heels. But that's okay, because she wears heels now and we love self-improvement. But the truth of the matter is that having an interest in fashion doesn't make you a narcissist. It doesn't make you the mean girl, and it doesn't make you shallow. So hi, my name is Leigh Barnett. I am the creator of Not So Shallow. I've always had an interest in fashion, and to be in the industry somehow has always been a part of every dream I've ever had. Through my time at Stevens, through the fashion communication program, I've been able to develop a lot of skills that allow me to be, like Maddie said, a jack of all trades, very well-rounded with an understanding of writing, graphic design, marketing, creative direction, all of those amazing things you need to be a creative in the fashion industry. I have been able to learn. I've also had the opportunity to have multiple leadership roles on the Stevens Life magazine, which you've also heard more about. This marks my second semester and last as its editor-in-chief, so that's been very exciting. And then I've also been able to develop my voice and my own personal style over the last 4 years at college. And I wanted to share what I've learned with the world. So what is Not So Shallow? Not So Shallow is a book for fashion lovers or others who are looking for a bit of guidance when it comes to wading through the huge world of the fashion industry. Not So Shallow is an interactive book that provides the readers with the tools they need to create their own personal style of dress. And dress is being defined as everything and anything you can use to decorate your body. And they can do this through the use of guided worksheets, inspiring interviews, and helpful tips and tricks. I've got the idea for Not So Shallow during my freshman year at Stevens. While I was researching rings to buy, I was going through all the sites that I could learn, and I was writing down what their price points were, if I wanted to buy from them, all of those things. And then throughout the same journal, which is what I have here, I planned out what rings I would buy, what finger I would wear them on, and I'm actually wearing 2 of them today. So they've stuck with me. But I wanted to create, so the goal for Not So Shallow is to leave the customer with a sense of purpose and understanding for them to use while shopping. I want to offer that individual the tools that they need to create their own unique style of dress in an affordable and classic way. So I did run all my research for Not So Shallow last semester during the period that we were given for that. And while researching, I was conducting surveys and one-on-one interviews, asking individuals if they would be likely to buy a book like Not So Shallow or, Not So Shallow. There's nothing else like it. But 88.6% of the 37 survey takers indicated that they would be likely to buy Not So Shallow. indicating that there is interest in my target market, which is young adults from 18 to 25. And then a bit more research. What really surprised me throughout the surveys while reading those is how interested the individuals would be to go outside that idea of box styles. They really saw fashion as a form of self-expression, and it was often discussed how there's not really a necessity to define our personal style into just one category. We are no longer simply jocks, girly girls, or punks. Fashion today is multifaceted and pulls from many different subgroups. This offered a really unique growth opportunity for me personally while researching and working through putting together Not So Shallow, as it really challenged me to focus on things outside of what I would do. It offered a bigger, broader sense of the term of what fashion means to a lot of different people. I really like this quote by one of my interviewees where she talked about how her style changes on a daily basis, and it's very wide and very broad, and that's what style is and style should be. So I've talked about Not So Shallow a whole lot, so why don't we take a look inside of what it is? So I start off with a history and context portion of interviews that I did. And I was able to get in contact and interview Dr. Jean Parsons, a professor of emeritus at the University of Missouri of the Department of Textiles and Apparel Management. She was very knowledgeable and really ready to make me think about what clothing means, both to the individual and to the people who see it on the street. I brought this section in as a way to share and teach the individuals who are reading Not So Shallow about how fashion works in cycles, how there's like 15 to 20 year increments when we see styles come back. We talked about logomania, things like that for us who are in the fashion industry seems very intuitive and we know a bit about, but for others who are just getting into it and need a bit more context about what styles are considered classics, what aren't, this was a really good opportunity for a teaching moment with it. And then I broke down Not So Shallow into 3 main sections, excluding the history section and note pages at the end of the book. These are clothing, which I'll talk about first, which is a section where I got to interview content creator and influencer Brie Knopf. She is a Students Alum graduate who has 97,000 followers on Instagram, and she shared her journey on creating her personal style when she took the time to talk to me. For worksheets in the clothing section, I created things like Pinterest stumps to help the reader realize styles and colors that they like, and then that can act as a jumping off point for other research. And then I also created a basics checklist and a page dedicated to helping individuals identify the versatile pieces for their wardrobe. Every section has a shopping list, and every section has a shopping list as well. This page is formatted to help the readers identify pieces that they would like to purchase, providing more information when it comes to shopping. The idea, if you think about a purchase before you make it, that purchase will be with you longer. I also introduced an idea of always creating 3 outfits you can make with a piece or garment that you're buying, which is a nod to my best friend, which is a question we always ask each other whenever we go shopping. And then for the clothing section, I also did a fabric check page that gives the reader more information about the fibers and threads that make up our clothes so that they can make a bit more informed decisions about the clothing that they're buying. Do they want to do natural? Do they want to do synthetics? Does it really matter to them? And then the second section, which covers accessories. In this section, I interviewed Hadley Stow, who is an owner of From Hadley, which is a small accessories business. Hadley shares how she's grown her business and the way that accessories make her feel, and that she hopes that her accessories make her customers feel. In addition to the Pinterest stumps and the shopping lists, which are also featured in this section, I created worksheets on necklace stacking, different metals, so different types of gold, walking individuals through that so they can make more informed decisions about jewelry. And I also really wanted to present the idea of what's worth your money versus maybe not so much. I then also created worksheets on how to find your ring size and drew diagrams to help plot out your fingers that you want to put on your fingers. This was a nod to, like I showed you in my journal, we've elevated from me just tracing my hand to beautiful worksheets where you can mark your ring size. And then the third and final section is piercings. So in this section, I talked to Jay Malloyd, a Stevens fashion marketing major, who shared her experience with self-expression through piercings and the pressure or not to take them out. The difference, I talked about the different backs that earrings have, what might be good to get pierced with, what's something a bit more classic. I also talked about the types of piercings for ears and for face. Both had diagrams, and the reader could again plot out earrings that they would want to get, face ones that they would want to get. And like I said, these are the face pages. The back is filled with notes for the reader to utilize with their thoughts, feelings on what they're learning. And then we have digital components. So obviously with books, they're a bit final with what you print, unless you do a second version or a different copy. But digital offers a really interesting opportunity to grow and to make a bit more of a profit. So outside of the printed version of Not So Shallow is the digital components, which are the website and social media. Through our website, which is housed under the LA Barnett website, I will be able to further the business venture through selling digital copies of the book, selling the actual book. This will allow for a bigger profit as I won't have to pay any market sellers. Sell small digital copies of the bundle worksheets, and the website, of course, allows for greater opportunity to expand beyond the book. I can use blogs, I can link videos, anything like that can be on the website, which is still in a bit of under construction. For social media, I will be using mainly Instagram, which will allow for a wider audience for Not So Shallow. While the presence may not be as lucrative as the website will allow, it'll allow for greater exposure and more engagement. So through social media, I will be allowed more flexibility in the content that I create under Not So Shallow. I can show people's personal style, share more tips and tricks through reels. We have to make the algorithm like us, right? So we have to use all different types of content that what Instagram and other social medias allow. So I will also be providing interviews and chatty IGTV videos. I would love to do an interview with Brie Knopf, which would definitely allow for more exposure and also just a bit more insight of how fashion content creators share their style on Instagram and what they hope that their followers get out of that. And as we know, fashion moves very quickly, and so does social media. So it will allow me to have my finger on the pulse, as Lisa Lenore would say, and have new brands and styles that are popping up to share with my followers. Social media will also allow for more engagement with the followers, allowing for a bigger open conversation about what's happening in the fashion industry, or posing the questions of what should be happening in the fashion industry. And then we look at the SWOT analysis. So looking at my strengths, they mainly lie in the content of the work. I have eye-catching visuals that break away from the classic black and white, plus the one accent color that we see in a lot of mainstream media. Nothing wrong with that, but I personally like something that's going to grab your attention right away. The idea of itself is also unique and hasn't been done before. It's also interactive, allowing us something fun to do. We know that hopefully this pandemic, we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and something like this would offer a great way to get those hot fits for when we're out of the pandemic. Weaknesses, content itself may be very niche, though through research surveys, many participants that aren't overly interested in fashion still really like the idea of having this book, as it gives them more insight into what to do with their personal style, even if it's not a hobby for them. Not So Shallow is also limited financially, or not financially, in its finality as being a printed book, as I said before. But like I also said, the website and social media allow for those changes to kind of be made. But a positive about books is that they really stay with you once you read through them. Some growth opportunities we see, this could be a first in a series. I see a second volume being about outerwear, tattoos, and shoes, something like that. It can always be changing. There's so much to talk about with fashion, and there's an infinite amount of things I could write about. It would lend itself very easily to an online format. That way, entries can be changed and updated. Interviews with professionals offer networking opportunities for further outreach. And there's also an excuse to kind of work on illustrations and photography if I want to add a bit more of that into the project. The threats really come with blogs. They're kind of always a threat to fashion books as they're free content, but they're a lot harder to search through. With Not So Shallow, this is the product. You have everything in one place, and that's really, really great. Social media offers free advice, and most people it offers free advice. And like I said, my Not So Shallow offers a place to write that down right away. There's also that cost of printing. As we are bootstrapped, I am personally financially responsible for my content, which we'll get in now. So a bit of cost analysis. So much like any business venture, Not So Shallow isn't making a large profit right out of the gate. Like I said, I'm bootstrapping the entire project. So we'll kind of break down the cost of different things now. So printing a single copy of Not So Shallow costs about $33.96. And for a batch buy with Blurb, which is the printing site that I'm using, they offer a discount of 35% off for those bigger batches. So that would be an upfront cost of about $1,103.70. I will be selling my book at $45, which is a very hefty price, but hopefully with the content that's there, it'll be worth it, and providing a profit of $2,000 with that. While printing costs, so with that kind of cost, I will be making a profit of $896.30 for each of the 50 copies, for each of the 50 copy batch. This does not account for any of the profit from the $15 digital downloads of the book and the $5 bundles of worksheets. There will also be that annual fee of about $126 to pay for the domain name and web space, but that is an annual fee that I just have to pay once per year. So looking to the future, Not So Shallow will be looking to grow as a brand through the use of our social media presence, through full utilization of the algorithms, posting, getting ready for me reels, polls and Q&As on stories, and of course, interviews through IGTV among the regular posts. By using all parts of the app, there will be a better outreach opportunity to be shared, growing the audience of Not So Shallow. A second volume of the book, this one covering outerwear, shoes, and tattoos, like I said before, would also be in the cards for Not So Shallow. This will help keep past customers engaged in the community. Designing and developing separate merchandise for customers to purchase is another business venture I would love to undertake. Stickers are a great way to break into the business of merchandise. I also am a huge fan of socks, so I would love some maybe logoed printed socks as well to share with our audience. And now, if there are any questions or comments, I would love to hear back from you guys.
Great presentation. I'll start off with a quick question. Do you feel like your target audience is really the fashionista who has a lot of fashion experience, or sort of that plain Jane who's really looking to you for fashion advice?
Mm-hmm. I see it as someone kind of in between. So what I mean by that is when I did my surveys, I had both those people who are fashion majors, they were taking it, who said they would still be interested because it's a bit more. The things like metals, having a place to stack, figure out how you want to stack your necklaces. That's not something that we really think about when we think, we talk about fashion majors. So I think that there's an opportunity for that. But also some of the students and people I interviewed who aren't in the fashion industry or don't want to be, they still found it important to learn these things because they still wear clothes. They still have a style, whether it's part of their personal, the way they're recognized or not.
Great, thank you. And I love how your dress matched your presentation.
Thank you. I was hoping someone would notice. Well, if there's no more questions, I will say goodbye. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you, Leanne. Next up, we have Khailyn Perkins-Walker.
All right, hi. Welcome to Capstone Presentations. Thank you all for coming. So let's get started. So my name is Khailyn Perkins-Walker. I will be introducing to you my startup business called KhayStyled. So let's get started. KhayStyled is a styling service offering personal shopping, special event styling, and wardrobe revamping to women 18 and older in the St. Louis area. Our mission here at KhayStyled is to curate and innovate looks that make every client look and feel good. KhayStyled is all about confidence and owning whatever you put on your body. I believe that getting dressed should be a fun and exciting experience, not something you dread. So let's talk about who all makes this happen. Me, I am the owner and the lead stylist of KhayStyled. When creating this business, I decided to tap into a niche market in the St. Louis area where styling services aren't widely available. I've been working with 6 loyal clients over the course of 5 years. My clients include students, business professionals, moms, etc., a wide range of different people. With my bachelor's degree, Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Communication, I have the skills and the knowledge to provide a smooth and enjoyable styling experience. So let's take a closer look at who my clients are. So these are some of my clients that I've worked with before. I was conducting secondary research last semester and collecting surveys. I found that women 18 and older actually do need help in multiple areas of fashion and styling. In my research, I found that women spend on average $150 to $400 on clothing in the US. With that being true, I also found that 3 in 5 women complain about not knowing what to wear in their wardrobe but not being able to find anything. Given that women make up 52.4% of the St. Louis population, this justifies why my target market is women 18 and older. From the surveys I collected of a sample of about 15 to 20 women, I found that 64% of my sample said that they look to social media or other resources to find fashion advice. This same sample, they also expressed how working with a stylist would be easier and beneficial for their lifestyle. So this further justifies the need for a service like KhayStyled. I will ensure that clients have a carefree just easy experience with me without the hassle of dealing with returns or just ill-fitting clothing. That's a huge issue that I found with my target market, that they either have to return things or they just can't find what they want or it doesn't fit right. So knowing who my target market is and their needs, let's discuss the services that I provide in a little bit more detail. I offer services in person as well as virtually. Revenue will come from each service that is booked through my website. I charge a flat rate fee for services, and then I am reimbursed by the client for any items that they decide to keep. So here's a breakdown of these different services. We have special event styling. This is a flat rate fee of $50. This includes up to 3 outfit options. This service includes an initial consultation to just discuss ideas, what they want from me, what the event is. I just want to, get to know them, figure out what you're doing, what's going on. We're going to make you look cute, girl. So I will also offer assistance to them the day of the event if they do want that. That's just to make sure everything is, fitting right, they accessorize properly, just to make the whole experience more personal. Next, we have personal shopping. This is a flat rate fee of $75 and includes up to 6 outfits. I also consult with these clients about their needs and wants for their new wardrobe. I also assess their current wardrobe to see where they are starting and figure out how we're going to improve it and work things in that I'm going to pull from them. Next, we have wardrobe revamping. Wardrobe revamping is a little bit different than my other services. It's a flat rate fee of $45, and this includes an assessment of their wardrobe as well. I discuss their goals, their needs, but the difference is I'm going in and auditing their closet. I'm going in and figure out what they want to get rid of, what they want to keep, and then I help them figure out how to outfit things that they already have, pull things together so that they can pull from the closet that they already have. This is just for the client that isn't ready to take the step to creating a whole new wardrobe and buying new things. They want to keep what they have, but figure out how to revamp it. And then a last option that my clients can have is the monthly style box. This was an idea that I came up with because I realized some people, they want to keep constantly getting new things in. They want to keep a fresh wardrobe. This is a flat rate fee of $80 and it includes 10 outfits. This box is they want to, I want to basically provide full outfits, including accessories, everything for them in one spot. I will send them pictures of everything that I pull. They either accept it or say, we're going to go in another direction with these outfits. And then I go back and reassess. And then I will hand deliver this box to them. And if they would like, I could stay and they could try things on. We can figure out what things can be paired together, stuff like that, that will help the client understand outfitting a little bit better. This box also comes with a style guide that I developed. This style guide is a brochure style. It will be printed and placed inside the box. This is just to help the client find their personal style and just figure out where they're going with their style. So it consists of 3 prompts just to start out, and they can also write in the brochure to keep it for later, and just figuring out what they like, what they don't like, who do they look to for inspiration, which always helps with finding out what your style is. So also with booking me for any services, all clients have to fill out a style quiz. This style quiz just tells me more about the client, their sizes, what they're looking for. This all happens before I even start pulling looks for them, and before we have our Zoom or phone call consultation. So now that we've discussed my services, how will I be able to afford doing this? So the total startup cost for running KhayStyled is about $1,000. These expenses include a fully stocked styling kit at about $242. This is steamers, garment racks, sewing kit, anything that I would need to properly assist my client when I'm pulling looks or if I'm helping them on an event. Also, my to update the styling kit is about $50 every 2 to 3 months because I like to buy things in bulk when I first start out my kit. I buy it in bulk, and so that when I'm refreshing everything, it doesn't cost me so much to refresh it. And then we have my website domain. With Squarespace, this was $108 for a year. Next, we have the style guide that I mentioned. Printing this with Canva, I designed it with Canva, so I'm going to go ahead and print with them. It's $48 for 100 copies. And then we have travel costs, which is gas for my car, just traveling to and from the client or to different boutiques and sellers of the clothing that I'm going to pull for them. That's about $60 a month. So with these expenses, we can discuss how much I made for the past year. So prior to 2020, the work that I was doing with my loyal clients was all free of charge, and I was just building my portfolio and trying to get comfortable with working with people and knowing what my type of styling services would be and what I want to focus on, just really building up to the point that I am at now. Once I felt comfortable in that lane, I launched this business, and I had the leverage to do so because I was working with people. So then I started asking for compensation. But a good chunk of 2020 was me interning. So that was more free work. About 6 months out of the year was what I actually got compensated for. And that was only about $500 with 2 of my clients that I consistently work with, which isn't much, but it's much more than what I was doing before. I was working for free. So how will my target market, how will I build a more clientele within my target market, and so that they can actually patron my services? So marketing, I will use Instagram, Facebook to strategically communicate with my clients and potential customers. This includes targeted ads, engaging feed posts, interactive stories. I will also use these platforms to educate and kind of inform them of behind the scenes things that happen with KhayStyled. That could be videos, that could be outfit boards, because I do post like inspiration, or when I'm coming up with an idea for an outfit, I create a board and I post it in my story highlights. So I just think that this would be good for my clients to see what goes on and what my creative mind is thinking. So to solidify my online presence, I did do a rebranding of KhayStyled. I created new color schemes. I created these logos that you see here all by myself. And I also created a professional and cohesive website. And we can take a look at my website. Oh no. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is my website that I designed. The front page is just some photo shoots that I've done over the course of years and some things that I've worked on. Most of these were more staged editorial type of photo shoots, and as we get to the bottom, you'll see more of my clients that I've worked with. And then we have my about here. I just discussed who I am as a stylist, my credentials, and what the experience would be if you did if you did book with me. So in addition to rebranding and reworking some things at KhayStyled, I also decided to create some creative content just to further push my online presence with social media. And I want to show my styling expertise a little bit more creatively than working with a client that had a specific need. I just wanted to stretch my creative muscles. This was the creation of my editorial titled "All Dressed Up but Nowhere to Go." We're in a pandemic. Nobody's really going anywhere, but you want to look cute, you want to look good. So that was the concept that I came up with. And then I was also inspired by the 70s and disco era. That's my favorite era of fashion. So I just wanted to pay tribute to that. This was my concept board and my inspiration that I came up with. This is where I started. And then we have, after the concept was created, I did do a photo shoot with 2 models, a makeup artist, all funded by me. This was my second big photo shoot that I've done. So I really am proud of this. And here's a video that shows a little behind the scenes of what happened on this photo shoot. And these were the final pictures that I decided to go with. And I did a little bit of the graphic design elements as well. So to end my presentation, I want to talk about some milestones that I hit with creating this business and getting everything together. First, I did create my professional website with booking. This was something that I've been planning to do for a while, figuring out how to get the booking attached with my website and just everything that comes with designing a website on your own that you've never really done before. That was something that I checked off on my list. I wanted to work with fashion professionals and connect with more people in St. Louis. I did do that with my internship with AK Brown. She's also a fashion stylist in the St. Louis area, and she also does some branding things. And then revamping my social media and just my brand in general was something that I wanted to do, and I accomplished that with creating my own logos, color schemes, and making my social media just look a lot more cohesive. And with that rebranding, it also helps me gain 3 new clients, which is always great. And that's just something that I'm very proud of. I'm proud of everything that I've done. And yeah, I'm finished. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you have any questions or comments, we can go ahead and start those now.
I'll go ahead and jump in if that's okay. I love the presentation and I love what you said about making people love putting their clothes on. I think that's such an important feeling. So I think that's great that that's your goal with your clients. And great that you've already had clients under your belt that you've worked with and that obviously really love working with you since you've been working with them for a while. My question would be, do you have any plans to branch out outside of St. Louis through digital styling, or have you given any thought to that at all?
Yes, actually I have. So since I do offer virtual styling services, that's something that I do want to start putting out there that I offer. This would just consist of like style boards, and I'll be able to send them links of the stuff that they can buy, and just yeah, branching out is definitely on my list of things to do for sure.
Awesome. Cool, great, thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
Great presentation. Do you, well, let me ask the question. As a stylist, do you have a pulling fee, or do the stylist give you that? I mean, the designer give you the pulling fee contract?
So not yet, because
Okay.
I haven't necessarily, I don't think I've gotten to that point yet, because
Okay.
I'm still a beginner. I haven't really gotten to that point. Eventually, yes, I will have a pulling fee. Yes.
Awesome. Just make sure you have like a contract.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
Sure.
All right.
With your styling, are you just doing personal styling, or have you looked into like styling for influencers to get that recognition on social media?
I would definitely love to do something like that. Just sending out my resume, my website to influencers. Connecting with even local influencers would be great for me, since I am in St. Louis. Just connecting with other fashion professionals would be great. And it's good for business. So I would definitely think about doing that. That's not outside of my scope or anything like that.
Okay, perfect. Because I do know there's people who have following and they're still trying to learn their style, but they know that they have a following. So, you know, if you could just get in there like, hey, I can help knit this, you get your name out there, and then they get to grow and do what they got to do.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Khailyn. And last we have Courtney.
Hello, everyone. I first want to say thank you all for showing up this evening. I'm so excited to present, and I would like to congratulate my classmates. We did it, you all. I'm so proud of you, and much success. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing. And my name is Courtney Elliott, and I will be presenting to you all my brand It Girl and our new concept, It Girl, the Girl Group. So a brief introduction of who we are. We presented our first collection in May 2019, and then we officially registered as an LLC in June. Between 2019 and today, we've dropped 4 successful collections, and we've hosted 4 events. So we've been working extremely hard these several years, but this recent hiatus that we've taken has allowed me to restructure the business as the community and engagement grows. And a written description of who we are is stated in our mission. In person or online, It Girl works to provide our audience with an interactive retail experience and embrace all forms of femininity. Through fashion collections and collaborative events, the brand drives the concept of community while providing quality service, selection, and value. Can you all still hear me okay? Okay. I couldn't go too deep in this presentation without acknowledging my team of creative professionals that made this successful. So first up, I'd like to introduce Colby Elliott. Colby Elliott is a Stevens College alum. Her role was to create reports for the collection and make sure that they filled out the girl group aesthetic that we know and love. So she's our stylist and she's a visionary. She also was very hands-on during the shoots, alternating outfits and standing by to make sure that the garments and the models were being captured in the best way possible. Next, we have Carly Merle. She's also attended Stevens College. Carly and I collaborated on designs for this collection, and she took so many risks. She mastered working with materials that she's never worked with before to curate these elaborate designs that I'm so proud of, and you will see later on in this presentation. Next, we have Karis Merritt. She's our graphic designer and social media marketing leader. She messaged me back in August of 2019, and since then she's created visually pleasing content and graphics for our socials, and our engagement and impressions have went through the roof since she's been on the team. Next up, we have John Scott. He is a professional photographer. Since I started shooting with John, he has been nothing but amazing. He understands the vision and the aesthetic that we're trying to go for, and he exceeds it. Behind the lens, I'm just like looking at everything, but in front of the lens, he picks up every little detail. Then we have Janae. She's our content writer. She's an excellent writer and brought a voice to the brand. She actually wrote our mission statement and does a lot of the thought leadership, which will be seen in our email campaigns and on our blog. And then you have myself, Courtney Elliott, who's the owner, creative director, art director, creative director, and management all into one. A typical day for me looks like updates to the team, filing, bookkeeping, making mood boards, discovering and producing content for our social sites, and just branding overall, planning events, the list goes on. But I want to really thank my team because their hard work, their passion, and creativity is what made this project so successful. So I wanted to describe a little bit more of what our interactive retail experience means. So although we are an e-commerce boutique, we love for our girls to get the complete experience when they shop with us. So this is where our branding really kicks in. So right here, we have our Hello, My Name is collection that we dropped in December of 2020. And this was a way for our girls to showcase who they are, that identify with their personal style. So on the back of this, you will receive, it says, hello, my name is, but you'll receive a free fabric marker. So on the back of mine, it says, hello, my name is Mother It Girl, because I am the mother and this is my baby, but I like to think of myself as the It Girl. Then we have the It Girl Show, and we'll host these right before we drop a collection. So if you follow us on our social sites, please stay tuned for that. This is a great way for us to connect with our girls. They can come in, tap in, we'll do roll call, we'll answer some questions. We might even have like a little wind down, but this is just a good way for us to get some feedback as well as just connect with our customer. And then finally, we have It Girl University, which is a branch of It Girl. And we've hosted a TTD. It stands for 10 Toes Down 101. It's a heels course. We've hosted this at Stevens College. And because of the pandemic, we were unable to do another one, but we plan to try and do this virtually coming up. But this is a great way for our girls to learn the etiquette and importance of walking in heels. We had refreshments, we had great conversation, and they were able to learn some choreography as well. So while I was developing this concept, I needed to do some work internally. So I decided to build our brand strategy. So I did that through research. I discovered the origin of the term it. Through our competitive analysis, I found that other brands that share the same name don't emphasize the rich history and the true meaning of what It Girl is and how Eleanor Glenn made it this whole big thing. So I actually went out and I purchased the book. That was a Christmas gift to myself, and I was so proud. I watched the film starring the original It Girl, Clara Boa. And then thanks to Monica, she sent me over 100 links this entire semester with the appropriate knowledge and vocabulary to make sure that I was instilling this into my brand. Next is the application. So I would create research paper. I would write research papers and create PowerPoints centered around the material I learned, and I'll apply them in all of my classes. So I do apologize to all of my teachers for the saturation of It Girl material, but I definitely think it was worth it. In the business courses that I was learning, I also applied those skills. So one of the things they were talking about is bookkeeping. So this is one of the bookkeeping forms that I filled out in 2020. And you can kind of see like it's organized, but it's not quite there yet. So I wiped it all out. My dad, he is like the finance guy for me. So he came in, stepped in, helped me as well. And now I have a great filing system so I can be a little bit more responsible with our finances. And then also during my internship, I paid close attention to our project management. One of my weaknesses were definitely highlighted during that time, which was scheduling and tasking. So being on the shoots and knowing how long it took to plan them out, map it out, scout the models, scout locations, I paid so much attention to that because I was like, okay, I cannot continue to get excited about ideas and want to drop them in the same month as I'm thinking about them. So this has definitely helped me. And then next, investing. So of course, I wanted to reintroduce the company now that we were working on this grand concept. I worked with Fireside Solutions to develop an attractive web design that included the best resources for SEO management, subscriptions, and responsive e-commerce fulfillment. I also invested in a lot of our packaging as well. So this department needed a complete makeover. We outsourced a lot of our materials this time, which was something new, but I felt like it was really needed for this concept, but also as a way for us to reintroduce ourselves. So now we have branded mailers, a variety of pink labels, wrapping paper, and other items to bundle our orders. And then here is a little summary of our achieved and anticipated expenses. So our website was $1,500. Our web hosting is $30 a month. Our shipping services are $10 a month. Materials are $1,508. And our creative services and production rounded up to $2,300. So that total, we spent about $5,308, not including monthly fees on this project and revamp alone. And finally, we have our communication. The last strategy I really wanted to strengthen was our communication and transparency. So with everything that we do, we require customer input. We did that by initiating conversations on Instagram and conducting interviews on SurveyMonkey. We want our customers to know how they can benefit from their experience with the brand and how we can meet those needs. So here's a screenshot of a post on Instagram, and it's just basically we dropped these amazing collections, hosted these events, but we're going to do some housekeeping, and this is going to generate better community building and a top tier customer and client or customer and company relationship. And then here's a couple of screen grabs of the SurveyMonkey, and it says on-hand products, information when it's time to order, more videos, more virtual events. And then I had to, of course, throw in a little compliment because I think we were doing really well before. I just feel like we needed to brushing up on some things. But I would like to say that we have checked everything off on our SurveyMonkey. So that is, I feel so proud of that. So now I'm going to introduce to you all to It Girl, the girl group. So I always like to come up with these branded logos for our collections just because they're really fun and they get our customer excited for what's to come. As you can see, there's 3 silhouettes of women here. And of course, I could have used the model pictures and I could have had them pose in front of a camera and that be our logo, but I decided to leave them blank because I want to reinforce what we state in our mission statement, to embrace all forms of femininity. So I fit into that silhouette, you fit into that silhouette, anybody who has it fills that spot. And so this is how we got started with this idea. So I was on my way to the fashion show fitting, and I was listening to my music, had my earbuds in, and then Bootylicious, the Destiny's Child song came on, and I was instantly inspired. I'm always inspired by music and different artists. So I quickly text my sister, and she's always like the one who I can go to who's like, yes, that's a good idea, or no. So she was really, really excited that we were going to be doing this. And I didn't know when I was going to do it. I just felt like I have to do it. And then my capstone came up and I was like, whoa, this is perfect timing. And so here is a screen grab of our mood board. I've actually came up with probably over 10 mood boards. A lot of them were digital, but this is our physical one. And of course, you know, your physical mood boards include swatches and then some sketches that Carly and I collaborated on. We have our fonts here, inspiration, of course, from Destiny's Child, and just fun little notes and stuff like that. And being a woman-owned and Black-owned brand, representation matters. So I wanted to make sure I captured diversity among Black girls especially. The models I chose come from different backgrounds and have their own unique styles, but what brings them together as a group is the power of being it. So I'll go ahead and introduce them to you all. Here's Angelica. Angelica is definitely the girly girl out of the group. She is super chic. She took the most time out of our shoots because she was always fixing herself in the mirror. And we were just so patient with her because she had it. So we just let her go for it. And Angelica, I always also like to say, Angelica always brought gifts to set. So yes, that was definitely a plus with working with her. Courtney is like the rock star of the group. She comes in, she gave some of her best poses, and there were very few of them to choose from because they were all great. So we had options, but she didn't take that many because she got in and out really, really fast. And once she's done, she's like, okay, next thing. So that was like the best part of working with her because she gave it all she got, and it was just a really easy process, as well as the other ladies as well. But Courtney is just so present and honors every single moment. Oh, I'm so sorry. She honors every moment and is definitely down to earth. And finally, we have Maya. Maya is what we call our earthbound baddie. She is an advocate. She loves astrology and she just loves to learn new things. She has this other side to her, which we discovered. So off camera, she was a little bit shy and nervous to shoot because this was her first photo shoot. But then on camera, she came on and was just like Beyonce. She just totally transformed. And honestly, if you all can't see that she kind of looks like Kelly from Destiny's Child, like I thought that was like chef's kiss, the parallels there, come on. So next I'll go ahead and explain this video to you all because it is what we'll be posting on our promo when we return on Instagram. And it might not share because of me sharing the screen, but I can come back to it. Yes, we're kind of frozen here. I'll share it like this maybe. Okay, I think we got a little frozen here. I'm gonna stop sharing for 1 second and then reshare my screen. You all catch my voice going out? That was the excitement there, but I'm so excited. It'll give me like 2 seconds. Okay, perfect. It's able to play. Now I'll share my screen. Okay, so very exciting things. That was from our weekend long shoot that we did. Very good vibes. It was so much fun. So now I'll go ahead and go into our products. So the names of our products were inspired by our favorite girl group songs. So I'm only previewing 7 out of the 10 products that we have and we'll be selling on our site. But here's a look into them. And here's another one of our product models. Her name is Tina. She's super phenomenal. So first up, we have our Do It To It sleeves. Knowing you're dressed to kill with these adjustable pink faux leather sleeves, pair with our wannabe tank or no scrub bikini top for more oomph to your outfit. Next, we have our wannabe laced chain tank. You don't have to tell us. We got what you want. Our It Girl logo in an airbrush style lettering is displayed on a crop tank laced with chain on the back. Our showstopper crystallized jeans are the pants that make anybody turn their head. Our one leg applique jean guarantees a comfortable wear and requires a sole creep because you look just that fly. Next, we have our Say My Name graffiti jean. We'll let the pants do the talking. Our graffiti jeans are laced with chains that run down the sides to guarantee a comfortable wear and the risk of shade to anyone who hasn't copped. And then we have our Bootylicious waist chain. Whip your hips in our rendition of the iconic 2000s waist chain. Our It Girl Licious chain is the perfect accessory for our showstopper and Say My Name jeans. Our Ladies Night t-shirt, what a night it would be. Our It Girl pop culture t-shirt is a staple item in our merch collection. And finally, we have our It Girl magazine booklet. Inspired by our favorite magazines of the 90s and early 2000s, It Girl has its own magazine featuring signed poster, quizzes, and the inside scoop behind the band. So here's our cover, and then here's a snapshot of one of the pages. And I'm so excited. I have the physical version right here, and I can show that to you all if I stop sharing, but I'll do that in a second. And to finish, I'll play that in a second as well. But to finish off, I would like to say there will be a shift in our social media presence. So we'll expand to other social sites like Twitter and TikTok. Our Instagram will follow a theme for cohesion. So for an example, we'll have templates. So once our It Girls post pictures in their outfits and they tag us, we'll be able to take a screen grab. We'll have this, we'll put it on our template and then it will be uploaded straight from there. And then we'll have more virtual events like I explained earlier. So we're planning to have TTD 101 online as well as more to come. So please follow us for more updates on that. But here's a quick video of our TikTok that we created that weekend. And that's it. Thank you all for listening. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
That was awesome. I just have one quick question. I love it. I loved your product descriptions. Like those alone make me want to buy everything.
Thank you.
It's so creative. How often are you guys coming out with new product or adding merchandise to your site?
Yeah, so that was also that was a really good question because actually we were deciding to do a shift in the way we drop our collections. Before we were doing them probably once every couple of months. But now I figured that we should do 2 strong collections every year. Since we are such a small brand, this will give us time to really develop our ideas and then produce the actual garments, as well as just getting content out there. I've noticed since we are a small company as well, I have small batch orders with it that go along with this, just to manage how much we're producing and the cost of everything. So May is usually around the time that we drop for our first collection because I like to think that It Girl is a Taurus. I'm also a Taurus. And then we'll drop one for the winter time as well. But we'll also have staple items that'll be on our site soon. So you can always purchase a t-shirt or a hoodie at any time.
Awesome. Very, very cool.
Thank you.
I have a question. Great presentation. Loved everything about it.
Thank you.
How will your packing materials be sustainable to the earth or to the environment?
Yes, so that was one of our areas that I feel like I wanted to tackle in this collection, but just for the sake of us revamping the brand, I couldn't tackle so many things at one time. I definitely care about the earth, and I definitely care about sustainability, and that's one of the efforts that we're trying to make. But also I can say that all of our jeans are upcycled. So we didn't go out and buy new jeans, or they weren't have to use materials that are upcycled. So that's one of the efforts that we are making, just reducing our paper use and then our plastic use. Actually, we've ordered from a company that they use recyclable plastic for our shopping bags when the girls come and pick up their orders.
Oh, that's awesome. You should probably add that to your website.
Yes, for sure. Thank you for that.
Aside from clothing, are there any other things that you were thinking about adding to the website to like merchandise, like cute, like fuzzy pins or stuff that like people could be at school with just their like It Girl merchandise where it's not just like clothing?
Yes, so last year I was going to have It Girl University merch inside of the Susie store, but since COVID like came out in the lockdown, we were unable to have it. So I still have all of those ideas. So we have the stickers, we have fuzzy pins, all in stock and ready. So those will be up and those can be loaded at any time. I was really kind of just trying to develop this idea before getting into anything. But I definitely want everyone to be walking around feeling like they're an It Girl, no matter what item they have.
Okay, good.
And thank you all in the chat so much.
Thank you, Courtney. And thank you to everyone who was able to show up and cheer these talented young creatives on. Thank you so much to our jurors who have been so generous with their time. Quick note, as you should have the judging rubric, but if you need me to send you another one, I can. I've also emailed you PDFs of everyone's print project, as well as all relevant web and social links. So you should have that information if you want to take some time to enjoy all of the hard work that went into this. And that's about it. Just take your time on getting that feedback back to me. I'll compile and send to the students. Thank you. Thank you so much to everyone. All right. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Problem.
Thank you.